Hello, hello, and let's keep it real for sure. I am so excited. I'm very excited to have Aanandha on because he's coming from Singapore. So we worked it out from Singapore. It's 9 a.m. here, it's 9 p.m. there. Welcome. I'm so happy you're here. And we figured out a time that works for both of us.
Yes, thank you so much, Sandy, for your invitation.
Yeah. Oh, I was pumped. When I saw that you wanted to be on the show, I was like, yay. So before we get started, let me just read a short bio. Ready? Aanandha is the founder and chair of Atos Wellness Group, a top beauty spa and wellness company based in Singapore. In 2012, as the company was reaching its peak of success with $35 million in group sales per year, just a little bit. Oh boy, he suffered a debilitating stroke that rendered his right side paralyzed. Refusing to resign himself to a tragic fate, he harnessed a forward-looking perspective and began a journey of self-discovery toward recovery. Now a stroke advocate, he shares his story to bring hope to other survivors and provide early education to those at risk. He's a member of the Singapore National Stroke Association and was a participant at the 13th World Stroke Congress in 2021. I'm so happy you're here, but before we get started, I always ask out of all my guests, one word to best describe your past 30 days, whatever word pops in your head, and then why you picked that word.
The one word is happy. I always am happy, yes. I try and make each day a happy day.
Yeah. All right. So your word is happy. Is there anything specific about this month? Did anything different happen that made it even happier?
Yes. Several projects came by, and I think I'm quite excited about some of these projects that are coming by.
Okay, good. All right, so let's back up a little bit. I want to find out about your company. When did you start Atos Wellness Group?
I started Atos in 1983, and I first started selling vacuum cleaners. But in 91, I sold my vacuum cleaner company to my partners, 60%. So I only had 40%, and I started another company just to focus on wellness. So in 1991, I started the wellness business, and that's the main business that I'm running. And when I had my stroke 10 years ago, my wife is now running this business. Yeah.
That's good. That's good to hear. All right, so now we need to go back further because you said you started in 83 selling vacuum cleaners.
That's correct.
All right. Were you always an entrepreneur? Like, how did you grow up? Were your parents very entrepreneurial? Were you the kid always looking, to start a business?
Yes, Sandy. I've always been an entrepreneur because I learned this from my father when I was age 10, right? During school holidays, I would go with my father on weekends and on holidays just to study with him about the business. And that's how I became so interested in business, even at a very young age.
Okay. All right. So how did you said you went from vacuum cleaners to wellness. What made you want to get into wellness?
Okay. What I found was that vacuum cleaners, the business could not grow to the size that I wanted. And then I found that two of my staff were very capable. So I sold 60% of my company to them. And then that allowed me to be able to start another company just to focus on wellness, because at that time, I realized there was a big market for wellness, beauty, and spa.
Okay, so I'm all about that, and I'm all about the spa. Do you have spas in Singapore that people actually go to?
Yes, it's a very, very big market in Singapore. Spas, very big.
So
And
is it do you get skincare and facials and massage, the whole bit, meditation?
yes,
Yeah,
we have all of those that you have in America.
I bet it's cool. So tell us a little bit. Did you grow up in Singapore? Because I've never been to Singapore.
Yes, Singapore is a beautiful country, Sandy, and you should come, when you can. It's a small island, but it's about 6 million people, and it's very nice country to be in. Very safe, very safe.
Oh,
Yeah, very safe.
are
And
the people friendly? Are the people friendly?
yes, they are very friendly.
That's important to me. Okay, so here you are. It looks like at the height of the company. I mean, you're rocking and rolling. You're making a lot of money. And I was reading some of your background, and you were saying that you're promoting wellness. And this happens all the time, even in the health club business over here, Aanandha. We're in the health club business, but sometimes the background people, they're working themselves, that it's not healthy. Here they're supposed to be promoting health and wellness, but they're eating all the wrong foods. They're not working out. They're not sleeping well. I don't know if that was you, but you had mentioned that all you did, this prior to the stroke, was work, work, work. Is that true?
That's correct, Sandy. It is something that I feel very sorry that I didn't really look after my health. I should have spent time on more important things like family, for example. I was so busy building my business that I lost track on what is most important and most critical to me, and that's health and family.
It's so easy to do, isn't it? Because you start doing well, and then it keeps building and building and building.
Yes, correct, yes.
Okay, so were you working 7 days a week around the clock? Like that was your number one thing? Would you miss family events?
I was working 6 days a week, but the thing is, I should have spent more time with my family rather than working so hard. That was a big mistake.
Yeah, I think it's a big mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make. I remember, Aanandha, when I was starting my business, and they were health clubs, the mentors that they were just amazing to me. They said, please, whatever you do, don't make the same mistakes we have done. You know what I mean? They didn't want me to do what they did. And I listened to them. So there were some things that I refused to do. And I also brought in a business partner so that I was able to spend time, with my son. And I don't know if I would have done that if they didn't drill it in my head, but I saw how they really felt that was one of the mistakes they had made, and they didn't want me to repeat that.
I think that was something that was very important, and I'm glad that had such good mentors.
Yeah. I used to bring my son with me to work. I had a little daycare center and someone watch him so I could be with him. So I was very, very fortunate. Okay, so let's dive into your book, because first of all, Stroke of Gratitude is amazing, and I love the title. What made you decide to finally write the book? Because this just came out last August, and your stroke was in 2012, correct?
That's correct. The first 2 years was very difficult for me. I felt very sad that it has happened to me, but I attended a seminar by Dr. Darren Wiseman. He's from America, and he's a chiropractor. I attended the seminar with him, a 6-day seminar in Adelaide, and he said something that struck a very important note in me. And he said, Aanandha, can you see that this stroke could be a gift in strange wrapping paper? And after that, I changed my idea of the stroke, and I said that maybe there is a reason that this stroke happened to me. And then I realized I needed to write a book to warn people from not making the same mistakes as I made.
Yeah.
And so that became, I started looking at things in a positive light, and I was grateful that the stroke allowed me to carry on living, even though it was a very serious stroke. I was grateful that I survived the stroke and that I am able to do talks or talk to people on how to avoid stroke that happened to me.
Yeah, yeah. That's so important, isn't it? I mean, I just remember last week, I was doing a speaking engagement, and I was saying that the same life, the same incident, depending whose eyes are looking at it, one can look at it as a blessing, and one can look at it as the worst thing that ever happened to them. It depends on the glasses you're putting on, right? The lenses that you're looking for, the whole perspective. And for me, I've been very fortunate. I look at things with a sense of humor, not right away. I mean, I have all the emotions. I get sad, I get angry, I get happy. But then I like to lighten things up and say, what's the lighter side of this? What's another way of looking at that? So for you, I can imagine, well, first of all, I can imagine the first 2 years just being so difficult. But I'm really grateful that you went to this 6-day workshop with Dr. Dan Weissman. But what made you go to the chiropractic? Because he's a chiropractor. What kind of workshop was it that you wanted to go to him?
Yeah, it was a workshop to reach your fullest potential. And I've always been a person who wants to improve my own potential. And when I heard about him, he came to Singapore for a half-day seminar, and that's when I met him. And I was so impressed with his work that I wanted to attend his 6-day seminar.
I see. And was that still in Singapore, or did you have to come to America?
No. The half-day seminar was in Singapore.
Okay. Well, that seems like it was a big turning point for you.
Yes, it was. And that's why I was fortunate he was able to write the foreword in my book.
Yeah. So your book, how long did it take you to write?
It took me 8 years, Sandy. Why it took so long is I needed to remember, and my brain needed time to regenerate. And so because the regeneration took a long time, it took 8 years to write this book.
Okay. Wow. So before you came on, I always reach out to my listeners and viewers to ask some questions they have for you. And some of them, because it's near and dear to their heart. And you talked a little bit about the process of healing mentally, but physically, were you in therapy like every day for how long to recover?
Okay. For the first 3 months, I was doing 2 speech therapy every day, 2 physiotherapy every day, and 1 the work on my hand, right? Occupational therapy. That was Monday to Friday. It was continuous for the first 3 months. Then after that, when I left hospital, I would do other treatments, right? I would do acupuncture, for example, as well as speech therapy and occupational therapy. But then I slowly reduced the sessions that I was going for, and I had someone who learned all of the movements and I did it at home.
Ah, so wait, so for I just want to back up. For 3 months, it was very intense?
Yes, very intense. And Sandy, the reason I'm able to speak to you today is because my wife insists for me to have 2 speech therapy every day. Many people, they don't do the speech therapy sufficiently, and they have difficulties in speech, even in the long term.
Mm.
I was
Yay,
lucky.
wife!
Yes.
Okay, so then you said you did it at home. So for 3 months, it was really intense, but you continued the therapy. So do you still have therapy today? Is it something that's part of your life?
Yes, I have it even today. It's a continuous process, Sandy. Stroke is that thing that you have to look after yourself, because especially physiotherapy is something that you need to always do. Yes.
Yeah. And you said your wife now is running the company, Atos Wellness, but are you involved in it at all, or did you step back?
No, I help her, but only maybe about 30% of my time. I go to center and help her and talk to staff. But I was fortunate. My wife, partner, joined me 10 years before my stroke. And because she was able to run the company without me.
It's not like she had to dive into it right away. She already knew what was going on. Yeah. Now you have 2 daughters. How old are they?
Yeah. One daughter is 29 and one is 30. Yeah. They're both young ladies.
Yeah, they're grown. Okay, so we're going to back up a little bit then. As far as, because I have a couple questions about the speech therapy. You said your wife, Fatma, made you take 2 sessions every day.
Yes, she did.
How did she know that was important to do? Like, I wouldn't know. Like, how did she know, like, hey, you have to do this?
Yeah, the doctor recommended that I have at least 2 sessions because they saw from the brain scans I had hemorrhagic bleed, right? And because bleed, right, if I didn't get the speech therapy twice a day, I wouldn't have been able to speak like I can today.
Oh, yeah. And I would never know unless you told me, because you said like your right side is paralyzed.
Yes, correct.
So are you able to write with your left hand?
Yes, I can write with my left hand. The only difficulty I have is when I walk, I need a helper next to me because there is a possibility of falling. But I gave up the wheelchair 3 years into my stroke in 2015.
So you say you need a helper, a person, or do you have something that you hold on to?
A person.
I didn't know. Yeah. Just to make sure that you don't fall.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So you mentioned your word at the beginning, Aanandha, was happy. And a lot of my listeners and viewers know that I'm a big component of how do you start your day? What do you do to get in a positive mindset? So, nobody's happy all the time. It's just, I always say, you don't want to get stuck in the negative thoughts so that you can move to spend more time in feeling happy, love, peace, and joy. What do you do? What do you do to get into a more positive mindset every day?
Okay. The thing that is very important to me is I am grateful. Every day I wake up, I'm grateful that I'm alive, and I think of all the things that happened the day before, and I give gratitude for all the things that I had the previous day. And I also pray, meditate for a successful day for the coming day.
I love that. So do you, when you say you give gratitude, is that something that you write down, or is it part of your meditation and prayer?
I don't write it down, although I think it's much, actually, I should be writing it down. Yeah, in my meditation, I visualize a successful day.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and
I believe there's so many different ways to connect, you know, which I call to my higher power, love, peace, and joy. I tend to visualize better when I can see it. So when I write it down, it becomes more real to me, you know, but I'm sure it's very vivid in your meditation. How long do you spend meditating?
About 15 minutes, Sandy.
Yeah, because that was another big question they wanted to know. Like some people I know, they spend hours and hours, and I'm not saying that's wrong. That's great. That's wonderful. But I don't know if it's necessary. You know, everyone has their own routine. So I'm glad to hear yours is 15 minutes.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. And then as far as your physical, do you walk every day? Is there a routine that's good for you?
Yes. About 4 years ago, I could walk about 400 meters, which is a stadium, right? But now I can walk much longer, and I can walk 2.5 kilometers.
Ah, yeah, that must feel good.
Yes.
That must feel really good. All right, so when you go to they want to know the wellness center, what are you most known for at Atos Wellness? When someone would go to your spa, they wanted to come to Singapore, what are you like? Is there something that like, wow, you go here because we're really known for this?
Yes. The treatment that is most popular is massage.
Is it really?
Yes. The massage is the most popular.
And is there a certain type of massage, or is it all types of massage?
All types of massages are there, but there's one that is particularly very popular, and that is manual lymphatic drainage massage.
Ooh, I never had that done. No. Have you had it done?
Yes, I have it very often.
I haven't had a massage in a long time. I don't know if I need to come to Singapore to do it, but I sold my health clubs in 2019, and I was spoiled because the massage was right there and we had all different types. But now that I sold it, I don't think I've had a massage in a few years. You're making me, I'm not saying I don't take care of myself, but that's one thing I haven't had done in a long time, and I think it'd be really great for my body. Okay. So let's go back to your book, Stroke of Gratitude. Is this something that even if somebody didn't have a stroke or doesn't have a family member that has a stroke would benefit by reading this book?
Yes, I think the book is for people to avoid having a stroke, or it could be someone who has another medical situation that wants an encouragement. I talk about, saying that we have to look after ourselves. Mm-hmm. And if we look after ourselves, we will be much happier, and we won't be a burden to our family.
Mm-hmm. 8 years, that's a long time on the top. 8 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Were you I know me, I'm not writing a book for 8 years, and I create guidebooks and journals, and they're very personal to me. But when I release them to the world, it's really scary to me how they're going to be received. Were you nervous about putting it out? I kept changing it, changing it and changing it and changing it and making excuses not to publish it. Were you nervous?
No, because I had worked so hard on it, and I knew it was the best I could do. So when I released it, I was not nervous.
Good for you. Oh, because it was so, you were so passionate about it. You're like, the world has to hear this.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of speaking engagements or mostly virtual or in person?
No, I do speaking engagements where I share my stroke journey recovery.
That must be awesome. You must love that because you're inspiring so many people.
Yes, that's right, Sandy.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Yeah. So what are some of your hobbies? I know you mentioned that, you love walking and you meditate, but what are some of the other things that you enjoy doing?
I really love to play chess.
Oh,
And
are you good? Are you good?
very good. I'm very good. Yes. And when I was younger, I loved to play tennis, right? And hockey, right?
Yeah.
These two games I really enjoyed when I was younger.
Have you, I don't know if it's popular over there, but have you heard of pickleball?
No.
It's I mean, it started for people, who really weren't as active as much for tennis because it's tough on the knees. So it's more or less like ping pong meets tennis. It has like a tabletop. It's really very popular here for years. You got to look it up. Pickleball.
Okay, I will
You
look.
might be able to do pickleball. I'm just saying. I don't.
Okay.
Can you use your left hand?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, you might be able to use pickleball. Oh, wait a minute. Were you left-handed before, or did you train yourself?
No, left-handed. I'm actually a right-handed person, but now I can only use the left hand.
Yeah, I'm left-handed, so it works out. Yeah, it's a good party to be in. All right. So I want to back up a little bit because you mentioned that you were always had with your father, that you really had that entrepreneurial mindset, right? And that you watched him and then you went into the vacuum cleaners and then you went into wellness. But is wellness a big thing in Singapore? Like, is it a big part of your culture? Is it something that you don't have to convince people to do over there?
Yes, it's very popular, Sandy, in Singapore. Yeah,
So
it's very.
are most people like, what is the average day? Like, do they take care of themselves and most people not working, 6, 7 days a week? Like, what is the culture like?
People in Singapore work 5 days a week, and many of them will have at least once a fortnight. They would either go for a massage or a facial or a body treatment. Yeah.
So that's why when you said you knew there was it was going to be successful, because the culture in Singapore, you don't have to convince people that they need to get a massage or a facial.
Yes, it's people just love it.
They just love it. So if you were going to tell someone who's never been to Singapore why they would want to come over there, what would you say to them? What's the biggest reason? Like, what would they want to do or see?
Yeah, we have very good massages and very good facials. And coming to Singapore is a very beautiful country because it's a small country, but there's so much to be done, or so much to go places, go places that they would be so happy coming to Singapore.
And seeing you. So what do you want to do in the next year? Like, is it you want to continue on with your book and speaking engagements to promote all the good things that can come out of having a stroke?
Yes, I would continue the process that I started. Yes.
Yeah. So is your goal, like, I don't think that you're going to probably write another book in the near future because it took 8 years, right?
Oh.
This is a big one, but you want to reach as many people as possible.
Yes.
Did you say, I just want to back up a second. Not only to see the gratitude and why the stroke was a gift to you. But did you also say in your book how to prevent it? I thought you mentioned prevention.
Yes, prevention. The book is also to help people prevent a stroke.
See, I didn't know, for some reason, I didn't know that was possible.
Yes, for me, Sandy, I should not have had the stroke. There were two reasons I had the stroke, and one was a lack of sleep. About 6 months before the stroke, I was only sleeping about 4 hours a day. And the second thing is I was under tremendous stress. So it's basically stress and lack of sleep that caused my stroke.
Gotcha. So it's not like you can't totally prevent it, but it's like a heart attack, but there's so many things that you can do that many people may prevent it. There's many people that can prevent it.
People have overlooked that situation.
Yeah. So basically, Aanandha, there's no downside at all, mentally or physically or spiritually, for taking care of yourself.
No, there is. It's everything possible that we must do everything to look after ourselves.
Yeah, we forget that. We forget that, don't we?
Yes.
And even if you're someone that says, oh, forget about me, I don't need that. By you taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your family too.
Exactly. I was so lucky I had my wife to manage everything. And, so that was thing that I really was grateful for. And Sandy, did you know that 1 in 4 people in the world will get a stroke in their lifetime?
No, I didn't know that.
1 in 4.
Wow.
And more than 80% of strokes are avoidable.
That's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot.
So I'm just going to make sure I'm clear. 1 in 4 people will have a stroke.
Yes.
But 80% is preventable.
Yes, correct.
That's huge.
Yeah. And that's why I think that's a message I want to get across in my book.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. All right. So we have to ask some fun questions here. You ready? We call it rapid fire.
Sure.
Some fun, silly, goofy questions. Ready? Well, they're important to me.
Thank you so much.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food? I like vegetables.
Well, that's a good thing. Do you have a favorite vegetable?
I love broccoli.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I've never, ever had anyone say that one of their favorite foods is broccoli.
I forgot to tell you I'm a vegetarian.
I figured. Wait, I have to ask. Do you have pizza over there?
Yes, we have.
Yeah. I'm sure you have vegetarian pizza.
Yes, that's right, we have.
Okay. What is your favorite Singapore food? Like a dish that I couldn't get over here, or maybe, but not as good.
I like what we call fried noodles.
Ooh,
Yeah, fried noodles.
okay. All right. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue.
Blue. I don't know if you do this. Do you watch any television? Do you like TV?
Yes, I do watch television, but not so much now after my stroke.
Mm. Do you watch? You said not so much. Do you watch it at all?
Yes, I watch it sometimes.
What kind of show do you like? What do you enjoy watching?
I like action movies.
Okay. Do you do any type of reading and even just listening to books?
Yes, I love to listen to people like Dr. Joe, Dr. Joe, I forget his name, but I love to listen to Joe Dispenza.
Oh my God, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to put words in your mouth. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. Isn't he the bomb? He's so good. Oh my gosh.
It's really good.
Isn't he, wait a minute. Isn't he a chiropractor by trade? I mean, you would never know. I mean, the guy's brilliant.
Yeah, he is. No, he might be a neuroscientist.
Neuroscientist. For some reason, I thought he was originally a chiropractor, but you're right. He could be a neuroscientist. I wasn't sure. I know this. I listen to his books all the time. And in 2020, I had gotten a neck injury from doing some crazy things on my mountain bike, but I really couldn't move for almost 6 months at all.
Yeah.
Like go to the bathroom, go take a shower, whatever. And I listened to all his tapes. Like I bought his programs.
Yes.
Woo! It changed my whole view, like on how the brain works. I mean, it's just amazing. And what I love is there's some things that I just knew didn't make sense to me. And innately, this is how it seems the brain and the body works. And now he's hooking people up with electrodes to the brain, and they can see how the brain changes with the different thoughts. Isn't that crazy?
He's brilliant.
Yeah, you should go to some of his workshops. I want to go, like the week long. Do you hear about his workshop? I don't know if they're in Singapore, but they're worth going to.
Yes,
that would be fun. Yeah, yes. That would be really fun. Oh yeah, I love him. All right, color. We got food, action shows, books. Now, what do you like to do in your free time?
In my free time, I would like to spend with my wife more. She works too hard. I hardly get time to be with her.
Now she's working too hard.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. But does she take care of herself?
Yes, she does. Yeah.
Good. And do your girls?
She works too hard.
Yeah, she works too hard. Do your daughters live near, or did they move away?
Yeah, they live near me, but my younger daughter is in her final year in speech therapy at University of Queensland.
Ah, how exciting is that? All right, Aanandha, we're going to wrap up here soon, but before we do, is there anything that you wanted to get out that we didn't cover today? Anything at all that you wanted to tell people?
I think that I already mentioned that is stroke is 1 in 4 people will have a stroke in their lifetime, and that 80% of strokes are avoidable. This is the message I want to get to the world.
Yeah, that's a good message. That's a great message. Oh, before we go, where can they find your book, Stroke of Gratitude? It's
available at Amazon, or they can purchase it from my website. Okay. www.stroke of gratitude.
Okay, so your website is Stroke of Gratitude also. All right, cool. All right, my Let's Keep It Real people. This was a real blessing to have Aanandha on. We would appreciate you sharing it, liking it, and rating it. It makes a huge difference. And you know what I'm going to say? Until next time, toodles. Thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.